to this episode of Across the Bifrost, the Mighty Thor podcast, where on each and every episode we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. I am one of your hosts, Ryan Doze, joined today by a mighty gathering of warriors who are here to conquer the 12th part of our Simonson Saga. We are getting closer and closer to the finale, and today we have some epic comics to talk about, and I can't think of anybody more epic to start off this episode with than Epic Eric himself. Eric, are you excited for this installment, this penultimate installment of the Simonson Saga?
Oh my gosh, I would give my left arm to talk about Thor comics with you guys right now. And the Simonson Saga, as we're nearing the finale, is getting me super amped up. So these are some really, really good issues and some of the best of all time. Along with that giving of your left arm, I would break my ribs to continue. I feel like I'm going to laugh so much that I will break my ribs today as we talk about these issues. But Faz, you're also here to talk about these issues. Are you hyped for truly some epic books we're going to talk about today?
Listeners, I'm back for Simonson. I don't know if it's been a day, a week, a month, a year since we last did a Simonson issue. Who's to say? It's been so long now that I can't even remember. Was it 3 weeks? Was it 3 months? Who knows? But guys, I'm so excited, and I'm vibrating so much that I might fully turn into jelly at the end of this run. There's no rib breaking. There's no arms. I could be fully gelatin, but still alive based on how this goes.
God. Oh,
you're gonna send me up. I had to go there.
I didn't know I would need a throw-up bucket for that. Good grief. Oh my gosh.
Everybody, you'll get it later. Wink.
I hope you can tell, everybody, we are incredibly hyped to talk about these issues, and we're getting so close to the end of what many people consider the greatest run of Thor comics ever to be put to page. So we are going to waste no more time with our preambles, our prologues, and our introductions. We are going to jump right into Thor Legacy number 377. This issue is entitled This Hallowed Armor. We are entering as Doctor Strange would say, guys, we're in the end game now. And we're going to begin this end game journey with Thor in the forges of Pittsburgh. We've been here before. If you eagle-eyed readers of Thor can remember way back when Thor went to Pittsburgh to reforge Mjolnir, he's there for a different project this time. And we don't really know what that project is until later on in the issue. We see the Dark Elves of Svartalfheim trying to stop Thor from finishing this project. They summon Grendel from the Beowulf epic poem. They summon Grendel to go and do their bidding in Pittsburgh to stop Thor. And we see a fight break out where Thor is heavily wounded, but he's able to use these iron bars and these iron weapons that are really harmful to the Fey creatures that the Dark Elves are. He's able to use those weapons to fight them off. We see Grendel get mortally wounded with one of those iron bars, and he's still like, merely a flesh wound. I might die. But Dark Elves, get him. And they hold Thor down, and Thor uses this opportunity to he uses an opportunity where Loki distracts the Dark Elves with a blast of energy to give Thor the upper hand. And Thor is then, we don't really see it just yet, but he's bonded with the armor. And then we end this issue with Loki's plan of unleashing the frost giants on Asgard once more. We see that come into fruition because he's using, of all people, Eric, he's using Iceman Bobby Drake to make things a wee bit colder around Asgard. So Eric, why don't we start with you, man? What was one of your things that stood out to you with Thor 377?
One of the real quick ones was definitely Grendel. If you're thinking why does that gigantic dark elf, why is he missing an arm? It literally is the Grendel from the epic poems, and so Beowulf defeats Grendel by ripping off one of his arms, and that's why he canonically doesn't have it here when he's first introduced. I think this is the first appearance of Grendel as we think of Grendel. I think there was an issue earlier in the 70s where technically maybe that character was named Grendel, but it wasn't used in the same way. But they bring Beowulf into Marvel Comics as well later on in a Hercules story. In Gods of War, Hercules is recruiting gods to battle the uprising storm, and Beowulf comes and is contacted by Hercules to join that team. So a lot of cool stuff. There is another Grendel reference, more modern, with the symbiotes. Grendel is the symbiote dragon. Different spelling, I think, but also the point is that Grendel dragon might have been confused with Grendel in like the ancient times as well, and so just a lot of cool stuff where it dovetails with mythology. I have to share this just because it's one of my favorite comics of all time, that Malekith does summon Grendel again in Incredible Hercules 136.
Ooh.
Yes, that is the Thorcules groin kick issue. So if you want to see if you want to see the groin kick, you while you're at it, you can see Grendel coming back and being summoned by Malekith in that more modern comic. So.
Good wholesome thing right there. Oh my gosh, that's great. You referenced Grendel, the dragon, the symbiote dragon. One of the coolest images from the King in Black event was Null riding on top of this symbiote dragon. I was just like, Marvel, effing take my money. Like, why are we dicking around about this? That event is one of my favorite, just over the top, epic, Donny Cates, off the leash kind of comics. Great book. Real quick, Faz, before I toss the hammer over to you, I just want to say my favorite part of this is continuing to see more members of X-Force. Eric and I have made no secret about this. We're big fans of Iceman. We love us some Bobby Drake. In fact, last year, Eric and I got to interview Sina Grace, who wrote a great little run on Iceman. So Iceman shows up here, and I love how smart Loki is with kidnapping Bobby and using his Omega level ice manipulation powers to make his plan even better, like to make the giants more powerful. I don't know if there's another issue of maybe X Factor where we see how Loki kidnapped him, because Bobby's pretty powerful, and I just don't feel like he would be an easy target for Loki to just kidnap. Or maybe he does just teleport him away from where he's at. And that's
Ryan, he's an ice giant. You think Iceman can compete with Ice Giant? Ice Giant is naturally larger than Iceman. That's just how that goes.
No, but Ymir's blood, you frustrate me.
In this issue, we've got Loki again, not just using sorcery, but using a little bit of tech. He's got this translucent spheroid projected to Midgard that he's going to capture Bobby in a bubble and teleport him back. So I think it's really cool. Loki, the mad scientist vibes, and he's in his tower. He's got all this gear that he's using outside of just spells.
This is almost like Loki. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. This almost feels like Loki as a Doctor Doom type villain.
Yeah.
Where he's able to use both aspects of being that evil genius in both the scientific realm, but also the supernatural, magical realm. Faz, what was your favorite part of 377, this hallowed armor?
Well, other than just like a whole bunch of really fun fighting, which is kind of classic for Simonson at this point, the forging is my favorite part.
Oh, yeah.
I know I talked about it last time, dreaming of a day where we could see Thor forge as beautifully as Loki forged. And today's that day, listeners. There's the bright yellow of the fact that the flames are so hot, the way that he's having other Pittsburghians help him with the process. It's very reminiscent of Nidavellir in both comics and also in the Infinity War movie, obviously. And the way that Thor is using Mjolnir as a hammer to forge is really cool. We get that every so often. Our guy Al Ewing has done that again to show that he's kind of the heir to the Simonsonian way of doing things here. But that stuff was really fun for me. I'm going to be honest, though, listeners, the next one is the one that I'm really excited about, the forging.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm really, really, really into those scenes where you see him fully in the forging outfit, as if he's just a metal worker and making something cool. Who knows what he's making?
Yeah. And we learned that Thor has a Swiss bank account, and he's coming in here with a check, and he's renting the entire forge for a week. And they're like, do whatever you want, man. Like, it's your money.
Love that. It's like Thor doesn't get many like Tony Stark, like, well, I'll just buy the restaurant, or I'll just buy the hotel. He's like, maybe I'll just buy the steel forge. Like, that's Thor's version of kind of just slinging it around like he's, top boss.
Would one Asgardian piece of gold do? Yes, perfect. Okay, keep the check.
And I misspoke earlier, listeners. Thor does not debut the item that he's working on in this issue. We actually see Loki teleport Thor away from the Dark Elves before they're able to kill him. And then right away at the last minute, we see the Frost Giants burst into Loki's castle because Bobby Drake's power was making them more powerful. And at one point in the issue, it's kind of, the power is cut off, and they're like, no, must have more cold. And they blame Loki, and they bust down his door. And we see that the next issue, the end of 377, promises us when Loki stood alone. So we will quickly move on to Thor 378. As Faz said, this is an exciting issue. And it is entitled When Loki Stood Alone. Fantastic cover. Like, whether it's the remastered omnibus version or the original, fantastic image of Thor in some new duds. So, we start off the issue with more shenanigans at Loki's castle, and Bobby's powers kind of go haywire because he's been exuding this frozen ice energy for so long. Eventually, we get Thor back to Pittsburgh, and he finally dons this armor to fight against the Frost Giants who have attacked Loki's castle. He transports himself to Pittsburgh, puts on the armor, finishes it all up. The Pittsburgh steelworkers are like, whoa, man, I'm not going to touch this. And he's like, oh, man, Thor must be coming back for his duds. And then he transports back to Loki's castle, and he fights off the Frost Giants. They scatter. They're like, we'll get you next time, you crazy kids. We end this issue with them kind of tucking tail and running. A few other things happen in this issue where the fainting spells, the plague, hits more Asgardians. We see Hogun, Hildy, Sif, and then all of Volstag's family. Basically, everyone that's not Kevin or Mick have fallen prey to these fainting spells. So that is going on kind of in the background. And so Faz, what did you enjoy about 378 When Loki Stood Alone?
What did I enjoy about 378, listeners?
Was it possibly a costume?
We got a costume change into something truly epic.
Yeah.
The blue and gold battle armor that he would then wear every so often when the going gets tough. Coming from here, I don't know if it was the first redesign, but it was huge at the time, and it's inspired one of my favorite movie costumes with what Love and Thunder had this year with the gold and blue battle armor. So much so that I've got a sketch from Walt that's got that battle armor on it.
Primed. And
I've got a signed book cover of this exact issue, because this one means a lot, guys. Like, all the setup is really cool. The fainting's interesting, but at the end of the day, like, this armor and what it means is, like, to a cosplayer.
Oh yeah,
is so it's special. Seeing the fruit of the labor, seeing the forge, seeing him just really kick ass in the new armor, and seeing him kind of beat hell at her own game here. hopefully he gets to use this armor for something epic in say 2 issues, eh?
So Vaz,
but it's not just the new armor. It's he made it. He's been building this. Yeah. So it's the slow buildup. It's the anticipation. It's the mystery, and then the big reveal that all those things come into play.
I almost wish you guys tell me if I'm completely off base here, but like I almost wish they hadn't ruined the surprise on the cover.
Well, to be fair, last issue, like 3 times he goes, "Oh, the armor's almost finished. I got to keep working on the armor." So like we did know that armor was coming.
No, I know. We knew armor was coming, but we didn't know what it was going to look like.
Yeah, fair.
So I'm like, I'm okay with us knowing it's armor, but like that cover is so epic, and we don't see the actual reveal in the interior until like the 4th to last page. So I kind of
like if you're trying to sell this comic though. Are you gonna
1,000%? You put this on the front, and you're just like, if you're a kid walking past, if you're Will Rose walking past that in the gas station, you're like, "Gee, Mom, I need a Snickers and an issue of Thor." It's like, yeah,
okay. Everybody knows that Will Rose is a transdimensional being that doesn't have an age, so there's no way he ever sounded like that. He would have been millions of years old at that point, and there's nothing that. But you know, I take your point. Somebody who would have been around the age that Will would be if he wasn't.
I'm sorry, Faz. I'm still mad that he grew out a beard over the Christmas time, and then he shaved it. And
what?
I'm not. Like I told him, I'm not mad. Did
he take a photo?
Disappointed. I can share you a photo of it. It's pretty good. It was pretty good.
Please send the photo.
It's this kind of this. Imagine like kind of like 2 weeks of 5 o'clock shadow, but like just
was he covering up disfiguration from Hela that then he was able to fix with magic and he didn't need it anymore?
See, that would be a way cooler story than him just not wanting to shave.
I mean, that's what he told you. He wouldn't really admit, right?
As bearded individuals, I think Eric and I can get behind the idea of like one of us. Like, come on, Will.
Like you're doing it. Yeah, he didn't want to leave me alone. I'm sure that's what it was.
Faz, I know you've grown out facial hair before, but have you ever grown out a full beard?
No, so my hair kind of stops at the lower lines here, so it would get like thick enough at the lower parts, but it doesn't really fill in enough to be a nice full beard. So it ends up getting stuck kind of as a short beard, and then it's really prickly for both me and my wife. So that's kind of like, it needs to stay short for it to work, and it just doesn't work for like life, even if it does look good. So that's why it stops. Yeah,
Cynthia's a hard pass on the patchy high school beard.
She would never demand what to do, and it's not patchy. It comes in well enough in the parts that it's there. It's just not full enough height-wise on the cheeks to make it.
Highest compliment you can give a beard. It comes in good enough.
Look, it's not great. It's fine. There's a reason that I use that beautiful fake beard on my Thor costumes. Yeah.
Kim has looked through your cosplay photos before, and she's been like, "Is this his real beard?" I'm like,
"Yeah, it is. It is."
How in the next picture he's not wearing a beard?
Yeah, I can grow it really fast, Kim. That's why. In case you're listening, which I'm sure you're not.
You just bear down and you just push real hard.
Yeah. One of those guys. I have a buddy I grew up with from the time he was 14. Within 4 days, he could grow a beard like yours, Eric, and within like a week and a half, he'd be at you, Ryan.
Yes. What were we talking about?
Thor's new armor.
Thor comics.
And Will Rose is
talking about Thor comics. Sorry, beard talk just is so good. So this costume change, this attire, we get this epic metal armor, metal in both sense. Faz, what as a cosplayer, what about this armor makes it so special for you? Because you said as a cosplayer, this is an important issue.
Well,
why?
It's just the sheer amount of detail that Walt's put in here, like the fact it's so radically different from the classic look, the fact that there's story purposes for so much of it, like he keeps the Tony Stark arm on the side and then builds the rest his own, the fact that it's like a medieval knight almost, along with being a Norse god because of the wings, like it's so Thor and it's so different to the point that like later on in the Marvel continuity, like Thor can have big fancy colors all the time because he had big fancy colors here. Right. The gold and the blue and the big wings back with the gold again meant we can do crazier shit. Like we can get the crazy 90s designs we get, because Walt kind of broke the seal here. We can get some things. We can get midriff Thor that we wouldn't have gotten if not for this, right?
Hey.
Rapunzel hair.
It's like the things that it leads to, but the armor itself is iconic and so Thor while being completely different than what we'd seen before. And it led, like I said, to that MCU look. That's my favorite MCU look, that blue armor.
I think one of the things you hit on there that I just like, my favorite part of this issue is the fact that this Thor armor is unique, but no one would look at this cover and be like, oh, who's that guy? Like, it evokes all the things you want out of a badass Thor comic, but with that little bit of like, oh, I wonder what's happening in this issue. Like, if you didn't pick up last issue, you know, you might pick up this and you'd be like, wow, this is different. And this is like a refresh. Yeah, it's like a refresh. It's like, in a similar way, when you picked up the first issue of Donny Cates and Nick Klein's Thor, I mean, he totally changes the look of Thor as opposed to what he was at the end of the Jason Aaron run with Mike Del Mundo's Thor. But no one looked at the cover of Donny Cates' #1 and thought, who's this guy? Like, and he's got like full elven hair. He's got a tiara on. Like, it's still enough quintessential Thor elements that you're not confused. You're just like, okay, how did we get here? So I love your attention to detail, Faz. So I just wanted to give you your stage to fawn over this armor. Eric, did you have any highlights for 378?
Yeah, my big highlight was the mysterious fainting. No, I'm just kidding. I really like.
Fainting was cool.
I mean, it has a purpose. At least it's in there for a reason. But it's like everyone's just like, all right, well, you're just, you're taking out all the other warriors, and they can't do anything because you want them to be benched for a while. So
yeah,
that's fine. But what I really did enjoy was the back and forth with Loki and Thor saving each other. Loki pulls Thor away from Grendel, and then Thor eventually pulls Loki away from the Frost Giants, and it all makes total sense. It's internally consistent. They have a rationale for doing that, and it's sort of showing at like, hey, maybe deep down Loki is honorable to some degree. He's not just a maniac, right? Yeah. He has his other motivations, but he's honorable. And the idea of like, dang it, now I owe you one. Like, this sucks. Like, but they feel so bound to that of like, you saved my life, curses. Like, now I hate to be in your debt, so now I'm going to have to find a way to repay you. Gosh, like I love that. And it's very like warrior code.
Yeah.
And makes that relationship more interesting than just I'm the maniacal villain at all times, Totally
agree. I think that is one of those things where that's what makes Loki and Thor unique, is that at the end of the day, they still are stepbrothers. And they have to, like, whenever they have, when Loki has a scheme against Thor, or Thor goes to apprehend Loki, like, he has to reconcile it with the fact that, like, I grew up with this guy. Like, a part of them has to wrestle a little bit, or they have to suppress that part of themselves. I think that's a great little tidbit there. Faz, since this was kind of your issue to fawn over, do you feel like we've surmised 378?
I think we've done what we need to do, because the real magic happens in approximately 24 pages.
So we need to move on to 379. This has two titles. This is called either There Were Giants in Those Days, or A Discourse Between Heroes and Villains. Guys, real quick, which title do you prefer for this issue? Eric, which one is your favorite?
There Were Giants in Those Days.
Why do you say that one?
Because it's got giants in it. And it makes me wonder, like, are they talking about frost giants or other giants?
Okay.
And it's talking about in those days.
It's a little more vague.
Yeah, I don't know. It just
Fazio?
The correct answer is discourse because of the fun conversation that we had between Thor and the most important villain of the issue.
I didn't really
yeah.
that I was setting myself up for the tiebreaker. Because I love that secondary title, the discourse between heroes and villains, because that's really what this issue is. Like, we don't get a lot of smash bang 'em up fighting. Instead, we get the plan of the Frost Giants is to unleash the Midgard Serpent, and Loki knows that the Midgard Serpent is his son, the brother of Hela. He's been referred to earlier on in the latter half of the Simonson Saga. So, just jumping ahead here, the Frost Giants, they are able to bring up from the sea floor Fin Fang Foom of all creatures.
Idiots! Like, that's not the dragon you're looking for. Like, Jesus Christ, come on.
They're like, oh, hey, Gundroth, who's the kind of leader of this batch of Frost Giants, like, hey, you go down there, put this cable, wrapped around the Midgard Serpent, then pull him up, and then we'll talk to him. They pull up
with
a
a big fishing hook.
Yeah, like, it's just the wrong.
He encircles the world, and they're like, "This fishing hook's probably big enough, right?" Let's like, of course they got Fin Fang Foom. How are you going to get the Midgard Serpent, you idiots?
This is something we'll definitely talk about next issue, how the different varying sizes of the Midgard Serpent really is a problem.
I mean, I don't know why we'd talk about that, because Thor's fighting Fin Fang Foom, but whatever, right?
You're right, Faz. We'll jump back to the present. Fin Fang Foom is like, he starts, kind of just batting the ball back and forth with the Frost Giants, and they're like, hey, we're looking for the Midgard Serpent, but maybe you can get the job done. And Fin Fang Foom's like kind of dumb, or he's just like, oh, I gotta go to New York and see this Thor guy. He goes to New York, starts talking to Thor in the park. Thor's, got his leg up, he's chilling, just kind of like
doing Thor things, Thor stuff,
Yeah. Oh, sorry, ladies. I'm just doing Thor stuff. And then Fin Fang Foom drops into Central Park, and he's just like, hey, have you seen Thor? And Thor's like, never heard of him. And kind of strings him along. And the majority of this issue in the middle becomes just them dicking around with each other and not admitting who they truly are. And at one point, Fin Fang Foom flies them all the way away, and he's like, haha, now that we're over here, now I can
whoa.
You did. I knew you were going to do that.
Whoa. He flies him away because Thor does the myth thing, Ryan.
Does the myth thing.
Fin Fang Foom says, if you lift my hand, if you lift my paw, because I'm a big cat, I'm just a cat, nothing fancy, I'm just a cat, I'm a cat, Fin Fang Foom, and if you lift my cat hand, I'll let you go. And Thor's like, well, that's interesting. I feel like I've done that before. Whatever, sure, yeah, let's lift this cat hand. Fuck it, let's do it. And he does. So Fin Fang Foom's like, cool, all right, we won't murder any of your friends then. Let's go.
And then Fin Fang Foom sheds his dragon coveralls, and he reveals himself to be Jörmungandr, Midgard Serpent, and we're like,
oh my god,
oh my gosh. And Thor's like, so okay, we get a little interlude of the Frost Giants, doesn't matter. This was the one part I was committed to reading, and this is my favorite part of the issue. So, Faz, when I'm done with this, you can just jump in on your favorite part.
Oh, Jesus, listeners, he's going to lose his voice with this, and it's worth it.
And if I do, well worth it.
It's worth it.
So, the Midgard Serpent still doesn't really know the identity of this guy. It's like, come on, he's a buff dude that looks like Thor. He's
not wearing wings, and his hammer is concealed behind his cape. Okay, who could he possibly be?
So here we go. Thor says, I have many names, Serpent, even as you, Vingthor, the hurler, Longbeard's son, have I been called, Heradir's foeman too. In Tyr's ancestral home, wisest Ymir knew me as Vjor. Unhappy Hrungnir's playmate, some have called me. East of the Evigar, the giant home, they whisper Hiladri's name. My father called me son, my mother called me darling, and beneath the vaults of heaven, I am Thor Odinson, the Thunderer, Jörmungandr's fear. For I am the wielder of Mjolnir, the crusher, the enchanted mallet of thunder and lightning that your father hates. It too has another name. In the fury of the storm, it howls its rage and it shrieks its name aloud. Do you hear it, serpent? Is it thy bane I wield, Loki's child? The end of all illusion. The hammer sings the death of Jörmungandr. And I'm like, I'm reading this. Read it before, and I'm reading it on this read through, and I'm like, let's fucking go. It's so good. It is so good. It's like he's reading a boxing announcement. Like, hey, here's all the shit I've done. Here's all my nicknames. Here's all the reasons I'm going to absolutely wreck shop on you. And it's just so good. Faz, I cede it to you because I am in the throes of epicness.
Tennis fans know there's a player named Rafael Nadal who's never lost at the French Open. And before he'd play matches there, they would do this thing where they would go, Rafael Nadal, the champion in 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2010, 2011, 2012, and they'd go, he won it 14 times. That's what Thor just fucking did. I'm this, I'm that. I'm Daenerys Targaryen, breaker of chains, Khaleesi of the downtrodden, the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, and I'm here to fucking murder you. Let's go.
Baz, it is the scene in Gladiator where Russell Crowe reads off, Maximus Decimus Meridius, husband to a murdered wife, father to a murdered son, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. And you're just like, let's start cutting dudes' heads off.
And it's just like, I mean, we've talked about how great that setup was, and it'll lead to what is the greatest issue of all time. But the other thing that's really cool about this episode, and now I'm saying it, Ryan, God damn it. The other great thing about this issue is that we get to see the wit of Thor on display again, the way that he's staying toe to toe with this dragon, and neither of them really knows what the other one is, but they're kind of playing around with each other. And I want to cede the floor to Hercules to talk about that more in depth, but I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a little bit of issue with the voice that you were using for Fin Fang Foom earlier, because I didn't read it as he's oafish and whatever,
yeah, exactly.
Let's get over there. Yeah. I read it as he is the voice of Smaug, or he is a fairy tale dragon where he is super, super snooty and highbrow. And if anything, he's British. Because he's like, I have always thought aphorisms were the refuge of minds too small.
He's 100% British. He's British for sure.
And a dick.
No offense intended, of course. None taken, dragon. I've always thought they were mere. It's they're this battle of wits. Yeah. So it's really more of it's highfalutin. It's overly formal. They're talking about illusion and metaphor, and it's such a cool exchange, and it goes on. They have pages and pages because they're changing sceneries, they're sizing each other up, and that's not just in strength; it's in wits as well. So that's kind of how I read.
Agreed, and I think guys, there's no reason why we shouldn't hop into what is one of the most iconic, in my opinion. There might be Thor fans out there that know issues better than I do, but I'm just saying this is probably one of the most iconic issues because it has a distinct format. It has a very singular focus, but this is, of course, Thor 380, Mjolnir's song, the epic showdown between Thor and the Midgard Serpent. I'll be honest, here's the synopsis. Thor and the Midgard Serpent go back and forth, trash talking and beating the shit out of each other for 20 plus issues. And
I'm not going to lie, I thought that you were going to be reading the actual synopsis from this, and then you said beating the shit out of each other.
No. But they go at it in the sky. and all but one page is a full splash page. And this is one of my favorite issues of Thor because it is so focused on two different points of view. They're almost doing like a professional wrestling promo to each other, back and forth and back and forth. Here's why I'm going to kick your ass. Here's why I'm going to kick your ass. Okay, everybody, buy this show on pay-per-view. But we get to see it right then and there. And this almost reads like a Dragon Ball Z fight.
Yeah.
Where they just keep topping each other, and I'm probably gonna.
How many times do I have to tell you guys that Thor is Goku before you start to believe me?
No. I believe.
I heard this with Dragon Ball Z sound effects in my head when I was reading it.
Right? Oh, and like Kamehameha. And like, let's be honest. I believe his name. I believe I'm gonna get this name right. I hope. Midgard Serpent looks like Shenron.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
He's just weaving through the sky. This is the Midgard Serpent that I feel like we need, like his size needed to be this. Like he needs to literally look like he is, like he can string out across the world and like wrap himself around the world. That's like, this is the image that I think of when I think of the Midgard Serpent.
And listeners, listen to our talk with Walt, because he talks in depth about why this is an all splash pages issue, and it's in order to show the size of Jörmungandr, because it was impossible without doing it this way.
Yeah,
he's like, this man encircles the world. So in order to do that, I need every page to be giant.
So Faz, do you have it? I know we all love this issue, and it's a very iconic issue, but do you have a favorite moment, a favorite line, a favorite thing from this issue specifically, outside of like, oh, it's just epic?
I mean, the poems throughout, and I know that Ryan usually does this, but
go for it.
I'm going to read one now, just from the beginning. Children of Midgard, hearken to the tale of Thor Odinson, who strode bravely to battle. No father heard his cry. No friend gave him aid. Alone against his bane, the Thunderer strove with Loki's terrible son, Jörmungandr. He slew that ancient evil, serpent of the world, so the son of gods embraced his doom. Would you know more?
Ugh, the would you know more.
And then every couple pages, he adds more prose to it. Like,
right.
It's an epic poem. It's a Greek epic. It's a Dragon Ball Z fight. It's everything that you could ever want in the climax of the most iconic run of Thor.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I'm going to read my favorite line from this issue. Eric, if you have a favorite line, feel free. I'm going to take this one. After Shenron Jörmungandr has made his final attack in that page where it's like literally it just looks like a Dragon Ball explosion in the background. Mm-hmm. And he says, "As I unleash my death strike," Thor flies back at him, presumably like from that explosion area, and he says, "You said it yourself, Jörmungandr. The trouble with godhood is that it robs you of your finer judgment, and that is why we will never be the same. You are a mighty fighter, but in the end, you are only a selfish creature. While heroes have an infinite capacity for stupidity. Thus are legends born." And then they collide. God, retroactively take my money. How in the world did we not get this in a Thor movie? How
did this time? Thor 5 could be the end of him.
I'm just saying, like, the Midgard Serpent is Ragnarok. Like, I mean,
the reason why we haven't gotten a Thor movie is because they can't make something this big make sense on screen.
I don't care. Like, we made Celestials work. Kinda.
Yeah, now the Thor movies were all before that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Scrap all of Dark World and just give me this.
Okay, no. Make Malekith War of the Realms Malekith and leave that otherwise the way that it is.
That comic wasn't even written back then, and you know
doesn't matter. Do it. Still make him crazy. He was still crazy in this run.
Egging each other on.
No, but back to the issue at hand. Eric, what was your favorite part?
First of all, amazing visuals. Even if it was just the visuals alone, it would be great. Even if it was just the prose and the dialogue alone, it would be great. But it's all three of those things that make it just completely epic. I want to focus a little bit on a couple of things. The composition, the interesting choice. I think it's on page 8 digitally, but it's one of the pages where Jörmungandr is facing away from. He's going into the distance, and I think that a lot of these, the composition is his head is almost like, it looks like it's a mile away. It's so tiny in the distance, and then his body is distorted coming closer to the lens or to the perspective here. That's such an interesting way to I would not think, like, if I'm drawing an epic dragon, to make the head super tiny off in the distance, but that really triggers this sense of scale, I think, for me, to be like, oh yeah, he's part of him is in the foreground, part of him is way off in the distance. I really liked the nod to the number 9. I think the number 9 is sacred in Norse culture and Norse mythology. And he says, I shall die first, and you shall take 9 steps back before dying yourself. There are 9 realms. It's a 9 days journey into hell. 9 comes up over and over and over again in Norse culture. And so I thought just that was really cool. And that comes up twice in this issue when Thor's falling, and it references again, 9 steps until his death, basically. And then I also have to point out the similarity between Thor getting chomped in the mouth of the dragon and then busting out the teeth. Yeah. And that is exactly what Throg does. When Donald Blake eats Throg busts out his teeth, and Donald Blake was corrupted by the Midgard Serpent. So I don't know if that was even intentional or if just busting out your teeth is a dramatic thing to do, and so people do it. But I thought that was an intentional callback, that's badass.
Oh my gosh. Listeners, what can we say? We love this comic.
And honestly, go listen to our Walt interview. He said more than we can ever say about this comic.
Obviously, he was there creating this, and we're just here appreciating it. Almost 4 decades later. Guys, any final thoughts on kind of the 2 themes that we really hit on today? Was the armor, the new and improved armor.
Ryan, tell the listeners how it ends. Like what happens to Thor? Is he dead?
Yes. You're correct. So borrowing what Eric just said there about the 9 steps, Thor falls from the sky, and we kind of almost see Jörmungandr's head explode. We see him be defeated. We don't see like his body fall to the ground or anything. That we're just told, hey, we're done. We do get kind of a cool starburst explosion in the background. I love that Walt uses these different explosions. And then we see 4 horizontal panels on the last page show Thor's armor, but Thor's body is missing inside the armor. And the final line that we see on the page is, "Silent his hammer, Mjolnir's song ended. The tale is told. Would you know more?" So that is where we're left with Thor defeating the Midgard Serpent, but also seemingly being defeated at this point in the run. And we've got only one part left of the Simonson Saga, everybody. Faz, what did you think of this section focusing on the armor in the first 2 issues and then the showdown with the Midgard Serpent in the latter 2 issues?
Guys, these 3 are, when people tell you that you need to read Walt Simonson, they think of 2 things. They think of the Surtur Saga, and they think of the Midgard Serpent.
Right.
There's a bunch of magic throughout it, but this is maybe the greatest Thor comic of all time. Like, we can tell you that over and over again, but like even just the cover, which we didn't even talk about because there's so much important here of Thor spinning his hammer like a helicopter and Midgard Serpent being there. Like, this is the peak version of what Thor comics can be and of what a Thor story can be. And please go out there and read it either on Marvel Unlimited or buy it at your store. There are copies everywhere. It's not an extremely expensive book. You can get it.
No, it's really not. I think we
and
all
it's also
have
like
a copy of it.
Yeah, and it's the Thor story.
Yeah. Eric, what was your kind of final wrap up thought on both the armor story and the Midgard Serpent showdown?
I think it's peak storytelling with A, B, and C plots, and that's precisely why 380 works so well, because it's a singular focus. I think if you just read 380 and you haven't been reading a couple of these ahead of time, you don't get the contrast between having so much going on in a story and then a singular focus. This feels like drawing a breath and the pause, before the dramatic battle. And so I think just reading this by itself, if you were just like, oh, I'm just going to they told me to read it, I should go read it. It might feel simplified because it's just a fight scene, but it's what it means. And it is because, of the story and the importance and everything kind of building to this point, that make it stand out on top of just being well done. Yeah.
This was an incredibly epic episode to record. I've been looking forward to this conversation since, honestly, a long, long time ago when we decided we were going to do Walt Simonson.
Could have done it way sooner, Ryan.
Just have to be a prick, don't you? Yikes. So no, everybody, this one was definitely a long time coming. I hope you enjoyed this. And we've got one more part left of the Simonson Saga. We have 2 issues left, 381 and 382, to close out the Walt Simonson Saga. So right now, I'm just going to throw it to Faz to tell you all how you can interact with the show, what you've got, to look forward to, maybe on Patreon, things like that. Faz,
listeners, you might have thought I forgot. You might have thought that I forgot to talk about Patreon this time. I didn't. It was an active choice to let these stories breathe first. Doesn't happen every time. Most of the time I forget. This isn't that. That was an active choice. If you like what we do here, and if you want to help us at the next level, we do have a Patreon. Again, the most important thing you can do is listen. It means the world to us, the listeners that we have. We are a small but mighty group. We love you guys. We appreciate everything that you do to listen and give us these opportunities. We are the most fun Thor podcast there is. And that's because of you guys listening and telling us what you like to hear and what you want us to do. I thought of other words, don't know if any of them are accurate. So most fun's what we're going with. But we do have a Patreon. It's not very expensive. It's our dream as a unit to go to an Indianapolis Colts game together. And someday that could happen at a Comic-Con in the area we could go to too, I guess. But really, it's about going to the Colts. It's about going to a Comic-Con together. Patreon could help that happen if you wanted to down the road. Regardless, though, please, like the posts on Instagram. If you want to rate the podcast, I'm doing a promotion right now where if you rate us 5 stars and write something, I will read it. Whatever you write, as long as it's not extremely offensive, I will read it. And if Ryan tells me I can't, then I will do it anyway because I don't listen to him. I'm the boss. Right now. So if anybody wants that is something that I know people like. I will read your review aloud. It will mean a lot to us to get the reviews, and it'll help the podcast, and that more people will find us. So
very true. Very true.
If you like what we do here, and if you like kind of what we've got going on, and if you like talking about books like the greatest Thor story of all time, join the Thor Corps.
We just did it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So good, everybody. Thank you, Faz. For all of you out there in the different corners of the 9 realms, we hope that you join us for the next episode, for the next installment, the last installment of the Simonson Saga, coming to you very soon. So for now, we'll just tell you to, no matter where you are, no matter who you're with, just remember to do one thing, and that is face the Midgard Serpents in your life. They talk a lot of shit. But, you just got to swing that hammer the way...
Smarmy-ass dragon.
Yeah. Swing that hammer the way you know how to. Bust some teeth out. And you might only have 9 steps left. But, hey, if it's good enough for Thor, it's good enough for the rest of us. And just remember to do one thing, everybody. That is to stay worthy.
Whosoever holds this hammer, if it be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
Good. That was great.